November is fast approaching, and Casey has made it to the Kansas 4K. Lee has kicked off the season on a high note by taking the new guy. And with any luck, Casey will be able to follow suit.
I am back, finally in Kansas. Today has been a long time coming. Been traveling all over the place. Everywhere I go, all I think about is trying to get back into a whitetail stand as quickly as possible. So I'm here, I'm ready to get it done. I'm by myself, which is a little bit different. Chris is in Ohio right now, and I've got 4,000 acres in Kansas on our farm down here as my playground. It's gonna be interesting. I got a short window to hunt. I got like 2 weeks, and then I gotta take a trip that I can't avoid. So I'm gonna be in and out. We got a lot of deer that are old. We're looking for shakes. We're looking for Bob Marley. We're looking for, some of these deer that we've been letting go year over year for the past couple of years. This year, we're finally hoping to get them on the ground. So I'm here, I'm ready to rock and roll.
As things get rocking for Casey in Kansas, back in Ohio, the rest of the Rival crew is gearing up for their first sits.
Ain't life grand, just chillin', me and you. High life party on a sunny afternoon. Let's make out, let's do Chinese food. Babe, I love days like today. Walk the dogs down a backwoods trail. Don't worry about the bills we didn't mail. Let's dream about the ship we're about to sail. Babe, I love you more every day. 'Cause every time I'm with you, heaven seems to light on fire. Yeah, every time that I'm with you, you always seem to take me high. Higher, baby, you're my highlight. Baby, you're my highlight. Baby, you're my highlight. Take me away. Highlight of my day. Highlight of my day. Highlight.
This segment of Rival Wild is presented by Diamondback Truck Covers.
So tonight's my second night glassing from up here. It's a killer spot to glass from. I was able to get some stuff done today. Got a banks put together. We'll put it on skids, drag the banks all the way out across this CRP into a spot. Saw 2 shooters go through there yesterday. Last night, so far tonight, I've seen 2 shooters, different deer in that same area. And I've watched so many deer over the past, between last season and so far this season, cut back and forth in this one particular saddle in the field. I want to get a stand on the west, and I'm going to start there. Got the banks up where it is. I'll hang a double Millennium set tomorrow. I'm going to try and hang and bang. And we'll just stay out on the fringe like that. And we'll try to tighten in as the deer show us more of what they're doing. There's going to be one way to do this, and that's going to be get in there. Get in there and see what's happening. That's really the only way I'm going to be able to make this work. So start by hunting Nomad in the morning. We can see all that from Nomad. See what they're doing, hang and bang tomorrow night. And then close in from there. It's not easy, but it's going to be fun.
An incoming weather front that's about to pass through Ohio has deer on their feet early and often. With good movement and shooter bucks showing in daylight, Chris and Jason know it's only a matter of time before one of them steps within bow range.
9 o'clock. Deer movement's been really good this morning. Looking at the weather, about noon, the rain starts. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, it's like 100% chance of rain and thunderstorms later in the afternoon. Doesn't look good. We're gonna sit as long as we can today. And tomorrow looks fantastic. Did get an update from Casey. He's got Bob Marley on camera, which is a good thing. We hadn't seen him on camera for probably, well, I don't know if we had him on trail camera yet this year. He hit a scrape that we have a camera hanging from. It's a good thing. So we've got Shakes, we've got Sundown, and we've got Bob Marley all spotted over there in Kansas. Casey and Aaron are over there right now. We got Chris, Lee, Corey, and myself here in Ohio. Crossing our fingers, man. I think it's going to be a good week.
I've been trying to find a spot to hang a stand pretty much all morning. I haven't been able to find one, as is typical here in Kansas. There's no good trees. So, resorting to the alternative. Taking my banks and moving the banks blind. I got the Ranger, I got a lifeline. I'm gonna hook it up to the back. I'm gonna drag it over the top of this fence row and put it exactly where I want it. We're gonna sit there tonight. That's the plan. Let's get it done.
What about the gentle word you used to whisper?
We just got the old Banksy loaded up to the back of the Ranger. Now we're getting ready to haul it. Aaron's gonna drive us over. These steel skids are just awesome. You can actually put them up on posts if you want wooden posts, or you can get the steel skids. I prefer the steel skids because we hook them up. We drag them right behind the Ranger, take them anywhere we want them to go, and we can get them there in a hurry. So pretty cool. We don't have that far to move this one. We actually just got to move it, I don't know, maybe 700-800 yards over into the spot that I want to get it to. So get it over there, get it ready to rock and roll, and I'm going to sit it tonight. We got a good wind for it, so I'm going to sit it tonight. Blind up here in place. Took us a whole like 10 minutes to do. Got it over here, tucked it in the middle of these 3 trees. I got some perfect shooting lanes. Just gonna have to trim a little bit out here so that we can actually film. But we're in, we're buried, and we're ready to rock and roll. This is a new style of hang and bang.
This segment of Rival Wild has been presented by Banks Outdoors. This segment of Rival Wild is presented by America's Best Bowstrings. Peace of mind is priceless.
Slow night in here so far. Seeing a doe, 2 fawns, and then another doe. It's still really warm out. I think that's just got the deer just hung up. They're not gonna do much until this temperature cools. Nothing's been traveling up on this fence line so far. They've got scrapes here. We've watched them travel it. We know they do. So we're just hoping it's a matter of time before they show up where this Banks is.
Whitetail season can be filled with the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. In an instant, you can go from seeing nothing to seeing the biggest deer on the farm. That was Casey's case when Shakes decided to let his guard down and give Casey his first sighting on hoof. With the evening coming to a close and Shakes feeding in the distance, Casey realizes that tonight isn't his night, but learned a lot about Shakes and where he may be living.
So last night was definitely an interesting sit. I laid an eyeball on shakes from a spot that we haven't really hunted before. We haven't really sat there before. You know, I dragged a banks up in there and got it set on this fence line so I could overlook a lot of stuff and kind of start on the outside. That's how I like to do it, start outside, work my way in. I got the blind there and we saw him come out in the bottom, out into that green field, and he's coming from the timber on the east that we call Hurricane, which is really interesting because Chris had one hell of a battle with shakes last year. I mean, he was all over that deer and just couldn't seal the deal for one reason or another. A step here, a step there, just one of those deals. But he was hunting them over on the west timber. So to see him come out of the east timber like that and know that maybe he's living in Hurricane, we got to start narrowing in on that area. I got to start looking at that area a lot harder because we've never really touched that. We haven't hunted it much, never really thought much of it, which is probably why he's living there. But it's a hell of a good start to see shakes right out of the gate.
Meanwhile, in Ohio, the rain has left as Chris and Jason gear up for an evening filled with nothing but high hopes.
Jason and Cody in camp. Lee already has a big buck on the ground in Kansas, and now he's back with me in Ohio. Casey's chasing monsters. We got a lot of hit listers. We got a lot of stuff going on right now. Deer season is in full swing, and so is the rivalry. I can't wait. I got a couple of big bucks marked up on this stand right here. This is Eeyore Corner. Casey shot Eeyore last year with a muzzleloader right here. He died at the base of this tree. And so there's a couple of good bucks over here right now. The Highwayman's still over here. Dogbone can show his face over here. And I haven't checked the camera, but there's like 400 videos on the Reconics right now that hasn't been touched in 2 weeks. So who knows what's in here? I know this. I'm in a tree stand. Finally back after it.
This segment of Rival Wild has been presented by Oz, Active Odor Destroyer. This segment of Rival Wild is presented by Garmin. As the sun begins to peek through the trees, the evening is shaping up to be a good one.
first set, just like that, it's happening. We got this deer that looks like dog bone, but he doesn't have the same brow tines. He was going on the other side. I couldn't see him at a wall coming across that field, but he was gonna feed, so I smacked the antlers together. And he turned on a dime and started coming like grunting. He could see down in his timber, and he wanted to see the fight, not hear the fight. Oh man, blood popping. Looked like a solid buck. Fun. Now we're in it.
With the most recent intel gathered on Shakes, the gears start to turn, and Casey feels that it's time to make a play.
Well, last night we saw Shakes come out in this bottom. We were sitting in the banks blind I have up on top. The junkyard is just back there. We saw him come out in this bottom right here. So we figured we had a perfect south wind today to come in on the north side of this little patch right here. There's a little CRP patch, top side of cedars, ditch that runs up the west edge. So we decided to get in here, and we definitely found his turf. This right here is where Shakes is living. I'm almost convinced of it. This is the most concentrated we've seen any sign since we've been down here. Maybe even get a stand in here and see what the winds are going to do the next couple of days. It wouldn't be very good for a north wind. Feels good to actually get honed in a little bit.
Grandpa wears that Elvis shirt from 53 years ago. And we all think he's crazy, 'cause he still listens to rock and roll. And he still drives that old Mustang too fast down the road.
Got this double Millennium tucked up in here where I think Shakes might be living. I took my time putting it in here, just nice and easy, nice and slow. So I didn't screw anything up too bad. So right now I'm gonna rip back, jump in the shower quick, and then I'm off to see if I can't get on Bob Marley tonight with this south wind. It's kind of my plan. So this is a really good spot up in here. Things are looking up.
Do you want to stay connected to all things Keefer Brothers? Visit KeeferBros.com for an in-depth look at what we use in the field, promo deals on products, and other videos. Also, check out our YouTube channel and social media for a first-hand look into all things Keefer Brothers. Closed captioning is brought to you by Hunter Safety System. Saving lives is what we do.